Namo Amida Butsu. Om Mani Padme Hum. Welcome, everyone, and welcome especially to you Buddha in the making. That's the claim of many Mahayana philosophies, that you and me and all of us, and my cat who's walking around outside on the front yard, that we are all in the process of becoming Buddhas. So hi there, Buddha in the making. Thanks for dropping by. First and foremost, I haven't posted in a while on this channel. And today I'm just feeling very inspired to work, to do spiritual work and do service. And the reason why is because of some suffering I've been through lately. But, and of course, the blessing of suffering is that it helps us to have compassion for other people and to, I'll say for myself, the one gift of suffering is it helps me remember that other people are suffering. And it helps me remember that other people are suffering worse than I am, which is hard to fathom, because when I'm in the thick of it, I'm like, I've got it worse than everybody else. Like if we got everyone in a line, like everyone on the earth in a line, like, and we put them from like least suffering to most suffering, like I would be, or most suffering to least suffering, like I'd be at the front of the line. That's how I feel. And I think that's how most people feel when they're suffering, like they've got it the worst. And, thanks to some teachings from Buddhist Dharma, I can see that that's not true. And I can have compassion for myself. I can have compassion for myself for the fact that I am suffering. And I can have compassion that it's so bad that it seems like I've got it worse than anybody else. And on the other side of that, I kind of broke through it this morning. This morning, I'm not so caught up in that. What I can see is, of course, that's not true. There are plenty of people. I would not be in front of the suffering line. And of course, Buddhist cosmology points out that, us humans on this earth, we're just a very small, minuscule amount of a sea of beings, human and non-human, throughout this universe and multiple universes and multiple realms. That this universe that we live in is just a part of one realm. That there's quite a number of beings who are suffering, and many of them much worse than I am. But boy, does it sure seem like that I'm at the lowest rung of hell. So on the other side of that, suffering again motivates me to do work so I can suffer less. It motivates me to help others who are suffering. It's the age-old question of what can I do? And so today I'm feeling very fired up to alleviate my own suffering, but also to alleviate the suffering of others. So there's 3 ways I'm going to be doing that today. First of all is to work on cultivating compassion for myself and for others. In the Eightfold Path, the cultivation of compassion really is right at the very beginning, the second rung of right effort. Right dedication. Like really dedicating ourselves to the cultivation of compassion for all beings, and the cultivation of please forgive me, I'm not the most scholarly when it comes to the Eightfold Path, but the cultivation of loving kindness and the elimination of ill will. You could say the cultivation of compassion and goodwill towards all beings, and the overcoming of ill will or hatred towards all beings. And this is feeling very ripe for me because it's the day after the US elections. And what I really noticed in myself and in pretty much everyone, not everyone, but in a lot of people, is a lot of ill will towards people with different political views. It's very interesting, to use that word view, because that's a central component of the Buddha's teachings, is that no one really knows very much of anything, but we have views, and we actually get very attached to those views. And then it's just like becoming attached to a person, place, or thing, or an activity, or a pleasure. And then we cultivate aversion. We literally cultivate, as we get more and more attached to my view is the truth, then we actually start to cultivate aversion and hatred towards other views and people who hold other views. And so today, it's my intention to remind myself that my opinions are not facts, that my, specifically, since we're just after the election, that my political opinions are just views. They're just perspectives. And until I am completely clear of attachment and aversion, that I am not seeing clearly. It's a hard one to swallow because I don't know about you, but I take my opinions pretty seriously. I take them as facts, right? As most of us sadly do. The other thing I'm going to be working on today, and I was working on it last night, and so, when I get into deep places of suffering and I'm just like, I don't know what else to do, I just do the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum, which is taught to be a blessing for all the beings in all the realms. And last night, I did it a little different. I suffered a lot yesterday. Oh my gosh. Deus amio. I was raised Christian. Some of that stuff is still in there. But I did a little differently last night, because last night, in fact, I may do a whole video on this. Last night, I did it from a place of compassion. Normally it's just like, please, Avalokiteshvara, or please, all Buddhas, bless all the beings. But last night, because I was so in suffering, I did it like this. I did it like, oh my gosh, all sentient beings are suffering. Please bless them all. From this place of compassion for myself and for others. Because one of the radical teachings of Buddhism is that until you're a Buddha, until you have completely overcome tanha, a thirst or craving, which is the root cause of attachment and aversion, talked about in the second noble truth, until you've overcome that, you are suffering. And you're stuck in samsara. And when I say you, I mean me, and I mean we. That all beings, until they have, in essence, completed the path of awakening, that they are caught in suffering. Doesn't matter if you're like Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Beyonce. It doesn't matter if you're like some great star or you're a millionaire or a billionaire. As long as, according to the Buddha, verify it for yourself, until you've overcome tanha, until a being has overcome tanha, they're still stuck in samsara, and they're worthy of compassion. Even the most vile person, even the person who has different political beliefs than you and me. And I'm not trying to be preachy here, because everything I'm talking about is stuff where I've fallen short over this election. So that's how part of I'm going to try to make the world a better place today is to practice these three things, to have compassion for all beings, including myself, and to remember that I am not, that the suffering I'm experiencing is not the worst suffering in the world. To remind myself that my views are just views. And to say prayer. You could say prayer. That's not really the Buddhist word, but that's okay. To say prayer, asking for blessing for all, for every being that exists, including my cat, including this bug that's flying around the room, that all these beings who are not, including me, who are not free of tanha, who are still caught in samsara, to have compassion for them. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to be doing today. I ask and I encourage and I plead that all of us do spiritual labor today. Because I kind of woke up today and I'm, with this sense of like, I'm a mess and the world's a mess. And the world needs me and it needs you to show up. It's like, how can I show up today? How can I do better today than I did yesterday? And how can I be helpful to the world today? And those practices I named is part of how I'm going to show up today. And starting to make more content, because that just seems to be one of the ways that I am able to serve and that I enjoy being of service and hopefully help a little bit. So thank you so very much for dropping by. Namo Amida Butsu. Om Mani Padme Hum. Hum Ahum.